What's going on, guys? It's your boy Thriller here, back with another draft analysis. I'm gonna kind of be rushing through this one a little bit, just because I already tried recording this, and for some reason my recording stopped for no real reason. So, yeah, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna be happening there. So I'm gonna probably talk about this team real quickly and kind of go over the things real quickly. But this is for the UNPL D League. We have been invited back, which is really awesome. This was definitely a league that we did really well last season. Last season where I also got confused how playoffs work. I thought we had to finish top four to make playoffs, but no, it was just that top four in each division got to pick their opponents. Excuse me, I'm tired. And pick the top four. The top four got to pick their opponents, so that was the reason I fought there. So we made playoffs. Unfortunately, a little bit of hacks got involved, and we were eliminated from the first round last time. But we made a strong showing to make the playoffs, so I think we can do it again, especially with the team I have drafted this season. I'm going to quickly go over the Terra rules as well. Terra rules in this league is that we will have up to three captains at max with 18 points. 12 and under can Terra, but there are a few mons under the 12 and under that do not allow to Terra and such, but we will go over that. And each Pokemon that can Terra into three types. One has to be a stab type, and two can be any typing you want it to be. So definitely a lot of cool combinations you can do there. But with that being said, let's talk about the team. I had Oh, before we talk about the team, definitely hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the Thrill Crew today because we're thrilling with the King of the Crew. I'm trying to get back to my original sub count of 1 to 20. We are only 11 away, so if we can hit that 120, that would be awesome. And then we can start the journey upwards to 200, baby. But with that being said now, thank you so much for your time. So let's get into this video. Yeah. So, with this, we had the fourth pick out of 12 coaches, I want to say. Maybe 14, possibly. I don't know. But before pick, I was actually kind of happy with that because I was guaranteed to get something I really wanted to try or use and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And I could have grabbed Palafin, I think, this time around, but I decided not to get Palafin, so I'm trying to use Palafin in a different league. And I really wanted this Pokemon because this was definitely on my main to try mons that I really wanted, and so I picked it up. I grabbed not the Boulder, it's a rock. I grabbed Iron Boulder with my first pick. Iron Boulder is such a fantastic Pokemon, great speed stat, a good enough decent def bulk in 80 and 108 and 90 HP. This thing is very strong. This thing has great utility. It needs to be Choice Scarf. Oh, and such great offensive capabilities. With choice scarf sets, choice spin, maybe life orb, booster energy. This thing is so insanely strong. This is a very hard hitting Pokemon, and I very much enjoy just seeing how this Pokemon has done for some people. I am very much looking forward to trying this Pokemon myself. It definitely was one of my main, 100% main. I want to draft it, graphic Pokemon. So I felt really good with that. So in the second round, I wanted to get something that helped with dark and steel types because they're going to be the biggest bane of existence to Iron Boulder, as it can kind of help deal with some of those grasses and waters, but they're depending on the certain typings of them. But I went with a pick that I was a little surprised made it back to me in round two. You see there's speed boost on this Blaziken. Well, that's because they allowed it. This is a speed boost Blaziken, which I've never used speed boost Blaziken. I've used regular Blaziken once or twice before, and I haven't really enjoyed it all that much, and it wasn't as good as I would have liked it. But speed boost is kind of a better version of it. But I will say this. Speed boost is a little hard to try to use in this game because you have to run protect almost every single week, if not every single week, to get that speed boost. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it because it's a double-edged sword. Because anyone that knows you're gonna click protect can either click rock polish, dragon dance, nasty block, calm mind, any setup option that benefits it, and put your team in a little bit of a bind. So I definitely think there's a double-edged sword to having this, but I definitely wanted to try and see if this thing can be broken. I want to see if this Pokemon is gonna do anything that's gonna make us believe that okay, maybe this should never be allowed type of thing. But I'm very excited to try Speed Boost Blaziken. Never tried Blaziken with Speed Boost, so it's gonna be really fun. Most of this draft was stuff that I didn't have tried yet, or I've only used maybe once or twice at the very most. So I'm very excited for that. Up next, I picked up Granny Smith, the Hydra Apple here. This was the perfect pairing that I needed to have not only that water resistance, but that grass resistance. More grass resistance with Iron Polar. Really nice. Having a water resistance for my first two picks, perfectly good. We do kind of steer away from that water weakness a little bit and a bit of a ground weakness that we develop as well later on. But I think we trapped around the team pretty well. But Hydra Apple was a Pokemon I really wanted to try. It's a really good defensive Pokemon. This gives me a bit of a Fizz depth. You can kind of pair with the Spadef of the Iron Boulder and also Spadef on some of the old Pokemon I will be drafting. But this also can be a fantastic AV mixed defensive Mon, which is really good. This thing could easily run Modest all the time and it'd just be really great. Access to Recover is fantastic. It's a great Assault Vest user. Regenerator, one of the best abilities in the game. And there could be some weeks to, Super Sweet Syrup. Guaranteed to get that, Draco Meteors. You never know. And then Sticky Hold's also pretty good, so that we don't get knocked off and don't lose our ability, which is also really nice. Our ability, our item, which could be really great. I really like this. It was definitely a Pokemon I really wanted to see if it's all that great. But it's gonna be really exciting to try it. Up next, I grabbed a Gara, aka Landorus T. I really needed a ground type to combat some of the electric weaknesses, so that way that way my Hydro Apple is not crippled to being 3 checks in one. And I actually have enjoyed using Landorus. I'm using Landorus in Draft League, Wi-Fi League right now, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely been fun. It's definitely been unique. It's put in good work. It's not been stellar, haha, pun intended. But it's been all right. It's definitely fallen off massively this gen, especially since it can Terra. If it could Terra in every league it can be, it definitely would be one of the best Pokemon ever. And even with Terra, sometimes it's not even going to be that great. It's at least better with Terra. Without Terra, this Pokemon is not as good as we want it to be. But I want to give it a try. I want to see if we can have some fun with it this season and see if we can do well with it. So I also felt really good because it was a stealth rocker, which I did not have up to this point, and I felt like having a rocker would have been really, really good. Plus, having the ground, having an electric immunity is also really good, and also having another thing for potential ground types is really nice. Up next, we got Spooderman, the Galvantula here, and I was actually really excited for this one. And I mostly drafted because of Sticky Webs. I also think it's a Pokemon I've never really drafted. I think I might have used it one time, but I don't know if I finished the league with it. So this is kind of like my first time using Galvantula. Galvantula is also really great. It's a really great offensive choice specs user. If you've ever seen Mountite, it's been a really good choice scarfer for him. But having things like blah, 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 Compound Eyes is also really great. Just be able to just get almost pretty much damn near accurate thunders just to be able to do some damage to you is really nice. I also really like Galvantula for what it provides to teams, along with having a good speed control and also with having webs. It's just fantastic. Surprisingly enough, sitting in round six, Glamora was still there. And I decided to make Glamora my Terra captain. The types you see there are the types we went with. I went with Poison, Grass, and Water. Poison, just because I felt like having to keeping it as a Poison type helps with against fairies and helps kind of deal with some stuff, and also keeping my grounded Poison. Energy Ball and Waterfall represents Grass and Water. Grass, because it was a really good offensive, but plays as a good defensive type for some matches that we will have. And then water, again, it was another thing where you can play as good as an offensive and defensive type for this mon. I really want to try and make sure. I always try to make sure Gilmora wasn't that one Pokemon you think is always just hazards and then does nothing. First time I ever used Gilmora, I think I used it a little bit more offensively, and I actually had a lot more fun and did a little bit more well with it as an offensive mon. The second time I'm using it right now is in a Wi-Fi league, and I've kind of pigeonholed it a little bit to be more of like kind of set up spikes and die type of thing. And then one week I tried to use it as offensive, I missed my move, and then they got did nothing. So I can definitely go a mixed variant of Glamora in this matchup. It just really depends on how those matchups go. But I'm very excited for Glamora. I'm hoping this does really well for us this season, and I'm hoping to have some fun. And hopefully we can prove why this thing probably shouldn't be a Terra Captain. Because I think it's a little nutty to have as a Terra Captain. With a 7th pick, I actually was thinking of grabbing Greninja because Greninja was still on the board, but I felt like this was a Pokemon that I don't really try all that much. First time I tried it, I actually really did like it, even though I did not do justice to this Pokemon. I want to do justice this time around, and that is going to be Hisuian Samurai. And I am very much looking at my boy Sledge here, ready to sharp down the competition with his sharpness. I am so happy I got this thing. I think on Webb's offense, this thing fits perfectly with this team. Now, obviously, I have a couple of speed tiers that are meshing around between the 80s and the 90s. But when you factor in webs, I don't think you really factor in those too much in the speed tier wise. There's also a decently defensive water. It's not the crazy defensive water as it's going to do well, but it's a really good breaker. This is a good run of Assault Vest, Choice Band, Choice Scarf, priorities and stuff like that. It's just a fantastic Pokemon. I'm very much excited to use it. Decided to grab some more Terra Captains. Now, originally, I was going to go with Earthworm, but that literally got sniped from me 2 picks before me. I was going to go with Ghost, Steel, Electric, Terra Captain, and I really wanted Earthworm to pop off. And then I was thinking about either this or potentially Miss Magius. I think I leaned a little bit more towards Miss Magius, but literally the pick before me, that got sniped. So now I'm stuck with Drifloon, which was something I was kind of looking at, because besides Mortal Spin, which was on my Glamora, which helps get rid of hazards, I didn't. Also, Glamora also provide me spikes, rocks, and toxic spikes. I didn't mention that yet. But what I think is good about Drifblim, it does give you a decent enough defensive Pokemon that can run default, decent amount of the weeks, and it could be a really good defensive mon for our team, which could be really good, like Sub Willow, Strength Sap. It could just be so annoying for so many teams to have to deal with. And this is our second Terra Captain. We are going with Ghost, Fairy, and Electric. Electric, I just kind of felt like it was good because you only have that one weakness, and you can kind of be able to check most of those one weaknesses decently well and pressure those one weaknesses. And I also just felt like Electric was a really good. Have also an Electric resist on this draft that wasn't just Landorus and my Hydrapple. So I thought that was really nice. But overall, Drifblim, it might not come to a lot of games, but it's definitely gonna be something that we're gonna make sure our opponents have to keep in mind in prep, which I think is really good, especially with having Terra Caps. You can always force prep even if the Terra Cap does not come. And next up here, we have the All Star, the man who's 12-0 for us in the draft league scene. And granted, these were only 2 games he came, but they were the 2 games where he dominated. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Chompy back, our Go-Go. And of course, I got to make him a Terra Captain with grass, water, and ground. Water and ground, obviously, the staples for Chomp for a go go because it's the best one to pair with Sap Sipper to get again. Only have one weakness with each of those typings, one being electric, one being water. So it's just really good to have this type of Pokemon. And I think for 2 points, it's an absolute steal. I think this should have been 3 or 4 points based on the fact that it's a really good Terra Captain. But I'll take a cheap captain any time of day, especially when it's Chompy. Chompy is the goat, quite literally. But I like this thing because it's a really good, decent defensive grass as well. But it's also a decent mon that can really take advantage of webs, and it's a very strong mon as well. And I actually did not know that Chompy has actually some decent special attack. We might try to use a special Go-Go one of these days. Who knows? But I'm happy to have Chompy. And we have Pom Pom, the Ambipom. Kind of just needed a normal type. This was going to be this or Farigiraf. I think Farigiraf could have maybe paired with the team a slightly bit better for screen support, which I think would have made a massive difference for this draft. But I felt like Ambipom, I really needed one more good speed tier for this team that I felt like would have benefited. But Ambipom is very, very good. Very strong, fast hit, hard hitter. Could be a great to expand user, to a scarf user, life orb user. It just overall fit the team. So that is going to be the team, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, so uploads, I don't know when they're going to start. I don't know what happens there. But I'm really excited for this team. Let me know in the comments below if you like this team or not. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next time. And I'll see you guys for week 1 of the UNPL D League. See you guys later. Bye.